it out. We gotta work it out. We're all in this thing together. We gotta work it out. We gotta work it out. Just because you live high on the hill, and I live down here on the ground. All the things that are going on, that's affecting me, indirectly affect you, whether you know it or not. We're all in this thing together. We gotta work it out. We gotta work it out. We're all in this thing together. We gotta work it out. We gotta work it out. Can't you see we're messing up the water? Where in the world can we get more water from? How smart can a man be when he pollutes precious air? That kind of thinking won't get us anywhere. We're all in this together. We gotta work it out. We gotta work it out. We gotta work it out. All in this thing together. All together now. We gotta work it out. We gotta work it out. We gotta work it out. The varieties of life are confused, being misused every day. They're sending rockets to Mars while people on Earth they starve. How long you gonna let these things keep going on? We're all in this thing together. We gotta work it out. We've got to work it out. We're all in this thing together. We gotta work it out. We've got to work it out. All in this thing together. We gotta work it out. Sisters are brothers, brothers and sisters. We all got to make this dance. We've got to stand up. We've got to stand up for the creators plan. Work it out. Work it out. Work it out. Work it out. Black and white, hey, red and brown. We all got this dance on. We've got this dance up. We've got this dance up for the creators plan. We gotta work it out. We got to work it out. Right now. We got to work it out. We got to work it out. We've got to work it out.
Welcome, everyone, and good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us here at HPCC TV. I am Errol Williams, and I have my boss with me, the Honorable Mr. Leonard Johnson, Chairman for 40 years, and we'll be going over to him in just a moment. But I just want to say welcome to you, and thank you so much for joining us. Please, if you have any questions for Mr. Johnson or in relations to HPCC, please go ahead and put them in the chat room. We are at Zoom, so you can even talk to us from Zoom as well. So if you want to actually use a telephone, you want to speak to Mr. Johnson tonight, please go ahead, raise your hand, put a comment in the actual chat room, and we will come directly to you if you want to speak. You can also put a chat in the YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're actually watching from. We're also streaming to Periscope and Twitter, but we don't monitor those chat rooms. So I want to say again, thank you so much for joining us. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you. So I'm going to go straight over to Mr. Johnson, the Honorable Mr. Johnson. And I want to say welcome to Mr. Johnson, my boss for 40 years. How are you, sir? How is Mr. Johnson today?
Well, you know what? I'm mesmerized by the introduction. And, gosh, what do you say when somebody introduces like that? Except, boy, be humble and take it. So I'm going to be humble, take the introduction. And yes, we've worked together. I would like to just correct you in one thing that you said. Boss, we're a team.
We're a team, yes.
We've always worked as a team. Because the reason why I say that is because I could never have done some of the things that you achieved in terms of when you had the dance classes, you had the arts and culture weekend, you get the kids them to go on a program where they design things for themselves and map out their future. And you became a trainer at the college center. You see, you're not telling the people about this, yeah, but as far as I see it, there was a lot of things that you could do. Even wrote much book. When last I write a book, I ain't wrote one book. You know, so all I have to say is that yes, I'm looking at the Honorable Errol Williams in relation to how he put it, the Honorable Leonard Johnson, because we are men of equality. We are equal. And now I could start. Is that
Well, I would say to you that Jesus never wrote a book, but so many books was written about him. And in fact, the last book I wrote was, as you know, was dedicated to you. But anyway, let's go into this a little bit more. Tell us about yourself before you started HPCC, Bridge Park, before that ever existed. Tell us a little bit about who you are, so people can get to know who Leonard Johnson is.
wow? We have I'll give you a minute. You know what? To be honest, right? I could remember when I used to see my mother's, and she used to be combing her hair, and she'd say, "You're going to school in September." I say, "Is that tomorrow?" And I always wanted to go to school because my brothers and sisters were at school. Went to school, experienced life in a funny kind of way. Like, you know, in those days, you could be, when I was in infancy, you was the only black kid in the class. And then other kids came from Jamaica and so forth. But it's like, I think that it was like, I always wanted to be a twin. I couldn't be a twin. I had two twins in the family. Webster was not a twin, he was the elder. I said, "Could I be your twin?" He said, "Yeah." But he was this brother. But the funny thing about it is that I always went off to a place called Canary Hill. That's by Wilson Junction train station, by the way. And I used to go there as a child and build a den and put tomatoes down, put carrot down, and you know, I like that as a child. And then, I used to set up little gangs, like the Evil Eye Gang or Captain Scarlet. As far as I see, it was like I mimicked what was fed to me.
Mm.
And I really always liked creating. I liked art as a child. I liked to draw. Um, and growing up, I went through a process where I was protected by obviously my older siblings, and I still was a fighter. Obviously, I was strong and will-minded and what have you. I ended up in a situation where I saw myself not having a direction as a child. Um, I used to always go around with my two brothers, Lloyd and Clive, God to rest Clive's soul.
Mm.
And it was like a journey that I think all of us have gone through, but mine was a different kind of journey because I was like a loner. And I just like, at the time as a kid, I wanted to be by myself and do things by myself. And eventually I ended up coming to Leeds, sorry, going to Leeds because I was too naughty as a child. And all of you lot don't ridicule me. I was no child, but at the end of the day, when I came back from Leeds, I found myself friends. I found it was a different environment, and then you have associates, and you start growing up. And to be honest, it was, how can I put it? It was a wrong way of life, but a lot of my friends keep saying to me, "Do you remember the good old days?" But I say to them, no, they were bad because we weren't good in those days. So how can you call it good old days when we weren't good in those days?
Mm. Mm.
It was like growing up. I went to Borstal. I went to Ashford many times. I was in institutions that's 14, 15. I was going to those places, but it's amazing that then even yourself, Era, you have met dignitaries, and the journey that has happened for us is different to a lot of other people's journeys. I mean, sorry, I'm looking at it to say, well, how can a child who has nothing as a black child goes through a journey, and we all went through our journeys, we all had our different things we were doing, but yet we met. And when we met, it became an atom. They will call it atom, like you split the atom and it does many things. But we became like a light from darkness. I don't know how to say it, because when I look at my journey as a child, I say that I would never in a million years have expected to not only deal with Bridge Park, but to actually talk on a pulpit of a church. I never dreamed in a million years that I would ever talk on a church pulpit. God, I have to say, is amazing. And I have to say, my journey became real to me when I found God. And I don't care what anybody says. They laughed at me, they mocked me, and whatever they did. But I know that I deal with religion. I believe that it's spiritually, it's like you're spiritually righteous. And when people say being baptized or they say these things, I say that's when you actually realize you're a spiritual being and you're righteous in your ways. You don't envy, you don't jealous, you don't greedy, you don't have these ways about you because you have actually become spiritually righteous in your soul, within your heart. You won't sell your soul. A man could offer you 100 billion to have malicious whatever with him or whatever, but because you're spiritually righteous, you will
Mm.
not succumb to that. But religiously righteous, you will
Mm.
do what religions say or whatever. That's how I look on it. I'm not
Yes,
trying to
yes.
preach or anything to people, you know. But I've always said to myself, how can I pay a mother for all the wrongs I've done in my life? I've cried, I've prayed, I've gone to prison, I've gone to Borstal, I've gone through all of that. But to be honest with you, I came through as a guy who, like you say, you wanted to hear about when I was young, and I know I'm talking a bit too much. I'll tell you the truth. There's a guy called Ray Fearon, and he's Lawrence Fearon, brother. I was host in a park. I had nowhere to go, about to commit suicide. I tried twice, and I heard my name shout with beers and the tablets. And I said to the guy, you know, that's where I see mind, how it could, take you somewhere else. And it's like you go all the way to the top, and then all of a sudden you're below the ground.
Mm.
And it's like, it hurt. It hurt. What happened was, I heard my name being shouted, and it was Ray Fearon, and he sat with me, and he told me about what he'd gone through. Because he said he's running around the park, he's sorting out stuff for his mum.
Mm.
God sent him to me because I threw away the drink, the pills, and I ended up sleeping on a friend's house on his couch, Dave White. After that, I saw Dave White doing press ups, punching bag, and the man has a stroke. I'm thinking, how could a man have a stroke and be punching a bag, doing up? I just phoned my daughter. I said, get me out of here. You know, I don't sleep on the couch no more. Where you going, Daddy? I said, I don't care. I'm coming out. And I went to God. I've never turned back, to be honest, right, from God, because what happened in my life after that, something that I know people would not believe, but they must believe. These things are real. Miracles are
Mm.
real, right? You repent.
Amen.
Because
Amen. Amen.
nobody can get forgiveness unless you repent. How could you beg for forgiveness if you don't repent? You know?
Okay.
So I repent
Mm.
for all the things I did in my life, all the wrongs and whatever. My journey in life was strange. Fighting, robbing, doing things, But my journey was, even though I was in white gangs, completely around. Even to this day, sometimes I think about myself and Leonard, if somebody disagrees with you, why do you have to challenge?
Mm.
Leonard, if somebody, wait, leave it, humble yourself. And that's the thing that took me through, to be honest, when I humbled myself. And I
Mm.
think that I don't know how people take it, but I think that God was the answer for me in
Mm.
the time I pulled through, because I see my ex-wife talk to me, even though, cavort or anything. I see my kids get on with me, like,
Mm.
my son will help me set things up, my daughter will help me. because we live loving. And one thing about HPCC that I must say, in terms of
But just
when I
before
was a
you,
kid,
what I wanted you
go
to
on,
do
sorry,
next, what I wanted you to do next, and I thank you for sharing that, is to tell us
I
why
shared
you,
too
how
much.
did HPC,
I
no,
shared too
how
much,
did,
by the way, but
no, that's
anyway,
perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm sure people, no, that's perfectly fine. But how did HPCC come about, or why did it come about, and when?
how did HPCC come about?
Mm.
I guess,
Well, I think we're supposed to. I suppose we can let people know what HPCC is first of all. I suppose, and then go ahead and
yeah,
tell us. Yeah.
HPCC, what HPCC is like a group of guys, people, not people from the street who came together, who was doing um, other things, who were not involved in the system, but external and doing the violence, doing whatever we were doing, but decided um, having those people create something educated, sophisticated, or university people or whatever, they weren't doing. They were comfortable in keeping their jobs and whatever and everything hunky dory. But
Mm.
HPCC wanted to create, it was an organization that, first of all, about it, yes, you asked that. It was an organization that wanted to create opportunities, create things that could help the people open up their minds to what they're
Mm.
able to achieve. So instead of saying, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that, HPCC showed them that, yes, you can. Um, I'm not interested in Obama cliches or anything like that. But what I would say is that HPCC was a catalyst for changing the mindsets of the deprived and disrepresented people. It allowed them to be creative, create shows, go to college, do do things. It was something that no, you can be inspired, and if you're inspired, you could inspire other people. So it's like an inspirational channel. Like it keeps inspiring people to do what they didn't believe they could do. So we're not talking about empowerment or any cliches like that. We're talking about real reality in terms of taking people from place to another. And when you say how it created, the reason why I say inspiration is because it's like having faith itself, right? Everybody has faith in God. Everybody has faith in this. No, have faith in yourself, because in prison, if it wasn't that I read a book on Daniel, right? I'm thinking as I speak, and I read a book on Daniel, then I read a book on Nebuchadnezzar, then there was a king called Tahagwa that fought with Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible. So I started finding out more because I never believed in the Bible. I just thought it was a lot of rubbish, to be honest. Um, Even though my mum was an evangelist and my dad was a deacon, I was interested in church or Christian because Jesus, to me, he white, he this. Why is a white man who persecute me and slave me and do all of these wrongs to me gonna come to want to save me later, right? I want to see a black Jesus. That's how I saw it. But it was like I was reading these books and I came across a book called The Destruction of Black Civilization, and it sort of showed me the journey now. And when I saw the journey, I was saying, no, John, why are we doing this as black people? Why am I going out and doing this? Why am I doing? And I pray to God that if He could change me or change some of the youth as much as I can out, and I beg Him, I pray and I cry, Now, remember, I'm a bad man in the prison. I'm not no little idiot boy who could check me. Me and you went to the block one time. No, I went to the block, you went to yourself. But to me, it's like I went through that and I had to have that journey that God had shown me is real. And this is not no preaching thing or anything about Christianity or whatever. I'm just telling you from my experience, right? That it's like I was crying, praying, and I used to have certain dreams and it went weird till I realized, okay, when I come out of prison, I knew that we had a journey. And I'll tell you what happened. Me and my brother Webster, God rest his soul, used to meet up on the 11th of November every single year. That is the day my married. And one day, some of my friends happened to be at his house, and I went with them instead of him. End up in prison, end up my family in prison. Just like God down on Job. And all of my family's in and I'm saying to my friends, listen, I'll say I was with you and did the robbery. Just let my family come out of this place. Even though I didn't realize the police and them were using them to weaken me, I said to my friends, look, I'll own up with two of you and we just say we did it and let my family get out. But anyhow, they couldn't break us. My family went out. And I said, God, I'm sorry. If I had stayed at Worcester's Yard, did what that was doing, I'd have been okay. But I went off with my friend and after I said I'm gonna give up that. And after that, the promise I gave to God, I kept it. And that's when people like you who used to mock me, so to say, around, not sorry, no, I remember you used to call me the man. Make it take it. You turn preacher, no. Right? But you see how God works, right? That I used to come to the White Hart pub and everybody's gambling, everybody's doing. I used to go to the pub then. I used to go to the gambling house then, go to the bookie shop then, and beg everybody beg. But you know what? I never gave up. And you know what? Because you came, Mike Wilson come, Lawrence come. A lot of people come because you see, although we weren't tight, we knew right from wrong. And I think that what happened was the guy got to come on board initially were the people I needed, like you, Mike, Ray, Lawrence, even the women, Juliet, you know, there's certain people who you needed because otherwise it wouldn't have happened. Because the way I look on it is, to be honest, is like if I didn't have you, I wouldn't have got Godfrey. I wouldn't have got the dance class. I wouldn't have got Barbara. I wouldn't, those people. You see, then I could go I could go to each of you and identify people who came because of you, because of them, And so it came together in such a way that the people now in Stonebridge, because Stonebridge, it didn't bring Stonebridge together.
Okay, we may be experiencing some challenges with Mr. Johnson's internet connectivity, but can you hear me, Mr. Johnson? Know that we're experiencing some challenges with Johnson's connection. Can you hear me, sir? Okay.
Together, because there's a challenge, like you said, that we haven't really looked at. And that challenge is like turning the parents around, not the children,
Mm.
because a lot of children having children, biblical. If you don't change the children who are the parents, then the children's children will be the same.
Mm.
And I think that a lot of people avoid, right? Like, I don't understand, why do people fear bad children? Why do they fear, like, if somebody shoots somebody or kills somebody or stab somebody, you know, there's always somebody that they speak to. There's always somebody that they go to. There's always somebody that they love. There's always somebody that they care for. No matter how bad, the biggest crack dealer, the biggest cocaine dealer, the biggest gang, them love them mother, them love them auntie, any harm come to them, right? And I believe that that's where we lose it, because that's called love, right?
Mm.
But it's like, oh, I don't have to love that person. I could hate that person. I don't have to love that person. I could hate that person. But hold on, yet you will love these, and if anybody do anything to them, you feel bad, or it hurts inside. And so hold on, what about when it happens to somebody else? The mother, the father, the uncle, the auntie had nothing to do with it.
Mm.
But not only would them by breaking their heart and killing their young one, you done to them as well. To me, it's like it, some people say this, some people say magic, some people say all sorts. And I've always said that when I was a child and I did what I did, I always tried to make everybody happy. I always, when we were kids, if you ask some of the guys who's grown up now, they'll say, no, Leonard made a den and we used to do this. I wonder why the system wants us to move away from love, true love among people,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
terms of spiritual love, the righteous love. So if I come to you, I'm not going to rob you. I don't have intention of conning you. I don't have intention of bribing or whatever. I should have the love for you. Is like, I want us to feel happy. Both of us feel happy. Yet this thing now that has taken over is like, it's almost like it's somewhere else where people feel that they should want more. So if a man say, how much more do you want? Because you got 10 trillion. And the man say, oh, I just want more. You know, what logical sense is there in that? There's none.
Mm.
And I've looked at that, and I've been able to be fortunate enough to come from homelessness to be able to do things and be able to go places in terms of my ability to do it. I'm not one who, I don't buy the £600 shoes anymore. I don't buy the £400 suit anymore. I don't do them things anymore, which I did because
Mm.
it was the thieving money that burned the teeth. You know, I just thief the money from the thief and buy from the thief anyway, because the same one who's selling it, he thieving from Africa or Jamaica or whatever. He getting the cotton for nothing. He's getting whatever he's using to produce what I'm buying. He's ripping off the people. He's thieving their labor. So a friend of mine, God rest his soul, Crosby, said to me, a thief, God smile. A thief from a thief, God will smile. Because the two of them is thieves, you
Mm.
know? So I wouldn't go mug women. I wouldn't murder. I wouldn't burgle houses. I wouldn't run around a person and shit. I wasn't into that. You know,
Mm.
I was into like,
I'm gonna just
but
interrupt you there,
you
Leonard.
know
I'm gonna show
what I
you.
wanted to conclude on the point. I wanted to say,
Mhm.
I would say that I would say that everything I did, it's like Robin Hood, the artificial man they created, Robin Hood. You take from the rich, give to the poor. But I believe that it's not about that. It's about finding something else that we
Okay.
could share values,
Mhm.
share the
Yeah.
values.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Thanks for
sorry,
that.
I went on.
I'm gonna show you this picture because can you see this picture? I want you to see this picture. I just want you to talk on that picture, what you can
I
remember.
can't see no picture.
One second there. Let me just
Oh
yeah.
gosh,
Yes, this is can you see it now?
bus carriage.
Yes. Talk on that
When
for
the
me.
buses used
How
to
did
be
that
there,
come
when
about?
my family used to work there, some of my cousins used to work at the bus carriage.
Okay.
You know what? Era. Now put it this way, right? You have to look at it, right? That bus carriage, because I used to bring food to some of my family who used to work there, because we were kids, like 5 or 6. We then run to the railway. We have to drop off their dinner. Then we go to McVitie's. But then we have to bring back the plates. So you go around again and you bring the plates home to your mum. The man them used to give us like a tuppence or a shilling.
A
So we were
threepence, you
glad
said.
to do it because we know we
Did
get
you say a
money.
threepence? Did you say a threepence?
Yeah, tuppence. Yeah, yeah, tuppence. Hey, we happy. And you
Oh
know what?
gosh.
We used to like them at the bus garage. Did I ever believe we would have go by the bus garage? Hey, what is
So
funny is
tell
that,
the people how much the bus garage cost and around that and how long did it take to raise that funds?
well, the bus garage did cost 1.8 million. We rated it in 18 months, something like that. And the London Transport gave us, no, they gave us 18 months money. And we got 1.8 million. And when we got the 1.8 million in that short period of time, they had bigger offers to buy the bus garage. But because it was given spiritually to us, no matter how much people were offering, they were going to give it to us, right?
Hmm.
So it was like our proposals, our ideas is what bought the bus garage because Brent couldn't buy it, nobody could buy it. It was HPCC, right? You and me, right? And when I say you and me and we, right, it's like we raise the profile of the bus garage. We get the people to want the bus garage. We show them what could happen at the bus garage. We stop the riot. Then Brent Council come. We say we don't want to work with you. We don't. You are the devil. They agree that they're going to help us though, and we work with them. The thing is that Brent Council has a lot to answer for because they're a corporation. They are not a council. They are a company. So if they're a company, by the way, that means we have shares in the corporation. Everybody who pay council tax, anything, should go their dividends are because they're a corporation, if they are a corporation. Um, but they are saying, imagine that. We were going through it, we got the architectural drawings from a voluntary group and whatever. We had Trevor Phillips come there and he sat on the ground for about a good 2 hours waiting to talk, because we were talking to other people. But then his interview got him where he get, and he was a youth, a student then time there. So a lot of this will come out, but it's like Brent Council knows the reality of life, not in Cambridge, of black people. And so they continue to maintain, how could I put it, this thing that is wrong. It's totally wrong because it's institutional racism, but it goes beyond that. It goes into like the vein that we are still less than an animal. They will still treat their cat or their dog better than they treat us. They will still look down on us. But I'm not saying all. And they feel that if we get economically strong in the UK, which we're not, we have lots of little rich people or whatever. They're a billion, what they people, Ghanaian or Jamaican, whatever country, because it's Europeans do it as well. Hold them. It's not just black. And in fact, black people than any other nationality in the UK, but yet we are the biggest nationality occupying the prison service where they're making money off of the black people. So we want to look at those things and see why those statistics happened in that way. Because we want to become economically viable, they say, no, let us look after you. We will treat you good. You treat us with the AIDS virus vaccine. You treat us with the Ebola vaccine. You treat us with the syphilis vaccine. You treat us with all these different vaccines. We tried to build a place in Tulsa in America as a people, as a race. You burn it down. You get jealous every time we build up Georgia. You do the same thing, right? When we set up growth, you come burn it down, broke it down. Why do we go and broke down your things? Do we come from Africa and not whatever you do? Or do we mash up anything you build in Africa or Jamaica or whatever? No. When you come to our countries, we embrace you, we look after you, we treat you nice. But when we're doing things in your like you don't want us to get anywhere. It's not right. And that's why when we try to develop
Mr. Johnson, just before you go any further, I need you to face us because you're looking away from the camera. So I want you to talk to us in the camera. Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. Because yeah. Well, carry on.
We have looked after everybody. And when you come to Africa, you get treated nice. When you come to you get treated nice. But yet, when you look around, the butlers, the servants, the workers for all these people, and yet when we come to England, it's the same thing. It's the same. So all we're saying is, look, allow us to do for ourselves. If you allow us to do for ourselves, we help everybody's done that. And if we were on top, oh, well, we was on top, but look what we did. We never had prisons. We never had no people being locked up in jail. We didn't have those things because of the way we live. It was a spiritual way of life, spiritual righteousness, like what I said before. So they couldn't understand this. You know, if you come out of caves and you're savages and you go raid people and thief and raid, take them away with you and do like the Vikings and the Danes and all of them, and that is their way of life. Their way of life is like if you come up and you look like you're against them robbing and raping your country and they want to kill you. What if every time a black president got killed, a white president got killed in revenge? It would stop. What if when they raid like organizations that are helping black people with food, bank, this, that, economical development, and they mash it down? What if it happened to them when they do it in other countries? It will stop, because at the end of the day, all it is, I don't know why we are so humble. I believe that it's like it's got to change in terms of what Brent is doing, what Lambeth Council or whatever other council, the institutional racism, the wickedness, the evilness, the brutality to black people, and then you get some people. I won't name his name. Every minute, all he's saying is, "Oh, there's going to be a stop and search about this or this." MB, no, excuse me. Talk to us about police brutality and what you could do, you could go to deal with police brutality. Don't keep us about stop and search. We don't want to hear that, right? And in terms of the police, I believe that we should be allowed to have our own security, have our own people, because the police are for the corporation. They are not for us. They are for the system. They will kidnap, kill us, do this, do that, and they will continue to do it because they are being given the mandate and the enforcement, and they feel free to do it.
So let me just interject. So are you saying then that there is a
hello?
Can you hear me now? Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me now, Leonard?
No.
You can't hear me, so I'm not so sure what's if you can't hear
They
me.
must have come in on there.
No, I don't think so.
I can't hear
no.
you at all.
Okay.
I could see your mouth and hear you.
No problem at all. No problem. I'm just gonna take a quick break and then we'll be right back with everyone. We're gonna just take a quick break and then
Anyhow, sorry for going on so long.
No problem at all. No problem at all. No problem at all. Just gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back in a moment. Wow. I must say, greetings and welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm so excited to be here. I know he doesn't like the term, but I like to call him my boss because that's truly what he has been for me. 40 years, in fact. And do apologize for not being able to have the quality of internet on Leonard's part. We're going to go back over to Leonard because we've got around 10 minutes left and want to hear from him some great points which have been made. I've been listening to Leonard now for around 40 years. I'm glad he made the point earlier about the fact that we used to call him the mad preacher. So now I'm the mad preacher, I suppose. But Leonard, I want to say how much we do appreciate you and your leadership. 40 years. This year we are
Hello?
celebrating 40 years. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Um,
Hello?
um, uh,
Okay. Yeah.
there is some feedback from Leonard's mics. As soon as we have that sorted out, we will come over to Leonard. I think we will do that shortly, and come over to you. But if you do have a question, if anybody have a question or a comment, please go ahead and put those in the chat room so that we can pick those up from you. But I think Leonard is back. Leonard, we've got one last question for you. Are you there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Leonard? I'm not so sure, Leonard. Can you hear
You
me?
hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
I could hear you loud.
Now, I suppose we've only got 10 minutes left, but I guess people want to know also about what's happening in Bridge Park at the moment. We went to court, what happened in the court and so on, and what's the situation to date with Bridge Park?
Okay, just quickly, Brent, the judge ruled in the favor of Brent, and basically they ruled us out of even getting any compensation for the work we'd done, and they ruled us out of even having equity in Bridge Park, although we worked voluntary for years and raised money as well for Bridge Park. And so our lawyers now, they've lodged an appeal, obviously, and basically the appeal is going against the charitable status angle because they're saying that no, Brent, you cannot just say it just belongs to you. And so they're identifying areas in which we can fight the case, and those are where we were the main instigators of raising certain funds for Bridge Park. And on top of that, the fact that Bridge Park could not have been purchased, or the garage would not have been purchased without the proposal that HPCC had actually put out, and also that we are looking for support from a QC or a charity, and if there's anybody out there that knows one, that would be helpful. Because sorry, I'm moving around out of sync, as I always do, just move around. But we're looking at charitable lawyers that can help with the case and work with us. But controversially now, I would say there are people that are doing things that are untoward, and we are looking at that in terms of the legal aspects, because the bottom line is that if you have nothing to do with the case and you just want to join it, you should go through the proper channels. And we don't wash our dirt law in public, as HPCC is. We prefer to talk as opposed to slander. And I think that those people who like to slander should start learning to talk. So I don't know if that answers the question.
Most certainly, and just wanted to say thanks to Jean for coming. She says, "Wow, I can really feel the music. Great performer. I just want to go chill now." So thank you so much for joining us, Chill. Thanks for everyone who has joined us in the chat room. We do sincerely appreciate everyone. We will be doing these quite often and so on with different HPCC members from time to time. But it's great to have Mr. Johnson with us. And as you said, Mr. Johnson, we're looking for assistance. If there's any lawyers out there, any legal brains out there, they can contact us and get involved. Is that what you're saying, sir?
Yes. I mean, even today, I had a woman come to see me, and she was here with my son. They were working together, and she actually lives just across the road, and she's and so she's looking to give her time voluntary. And I mean, she doesn't need to because she could earn money from doing it privately, but she's decided that she wants to fight the cause with HPCC and will be willing to do whatever she can. So I just say, just like me, you, Lawrence, all of us, Julia, every one of us initially did it voluntary. And look what was created from doing voluntary work. We ended up with a place then bought for 1.8 million, had so much people go through college, people do business and all these things, and then it's now worth 60 million pounds. Look what happens when we show love between each other and when we come together and decide to actually work together, what we can achieve. You know, that is, Bridge Park is an example of love between people. That's all.
Yes. And as you rightfully say as well, I mean, I would love to make this point that, we're talking about young men and women who had no formal education, who came together and just worked together as a team, right?
Yes. Yes. Because I'm saying it's reality that look at our different backgrounds. We were from the street. We weren't people who were like going to universities or anything like that. We had a vision, we had a belief, and we had the love for the people and a desire for making things happen. And desire can make it happen because desire doesn't have to be lust. Desire could be after love for your people to achieve. And our desire was for our people to achieve. And I always say this, don't kill two birds with one stone. Feed two birds with one seed. Why kill when you can feed? You know?
That's right.
And instead of greed, look at need.
I remember, just in closing, I remember a statement that you always made was that, you always told us that we should build and not destroy. If you remember, you stopped two riots, one in 1981 and 1985. Just talk about that briefly in closing.
Well, you see, you really want me to say? I mean, and I still stand by it, is that when I said, look, we're building, we're not going to destroy, it was like I was making it clear to everybody that at the end of the day, right, if we're going to mash up our area, right, we have to come wake up in the morning and see it. But if we go Golders Green, Knightsbridge, Chelsea, and them areas and mush them areas up, they wake up to see it, not us. Because as far as I see it, we were looking at them. They got everything, and all they want is more. It's like there was a movie called Wall Street, and the guy said, look, you got all the artwork, you got all the properties, you got 2 yachts, you got 3 jets, you got this, he said, what is your bottom line that would make you satisfied? I said, I've got to think about that. And then he said, yeah, the answer. And he said, what? More. He said, more. Now, you tell me. Now, that man could have probably feed the whole Ireland and everywhere. No, 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 no. I don't mind having all the gold mine, the diamond mine, the this, that. I just want more. Where can I get more from? Just show me where I could get more from. Tell me, any of
So,
your listeners, ain't that man supposed to be in a mental institution? And he locked, have strike, you know, what do you call it? You know, the words around him. And I think that every banker, every day who wants 100 billion should be put in a mental institution. Every single person who wants, even if 10 billion, from you get a billion, okay, I got it, right? Because I saw the greed, right? But after a billion, you be locked up in a mental institution, never spend the money in your lifetime. It could never buy all of what you want more. And at the end of the day, you could feed the poor. So stop saying more, say deal with the poor. And that's what HPCC deal with, is the poor. HPCC don't want it for themselves. They want it for the people, and they want the people to share and care. It's called share and care, you know? And so I think that it's difficult for people to change their mindset if they are greed mode, right? And HPCC is such an element in my life that it inspires me, just the people around me, and everything inspires me, because I know that all the people there are like-minded, and they have to eat as well. They have to develop as well. They should have business as well. They should, but when they run their business, share and care.
Yeah, amen.
Don't
Thanks
just
for
agree. Look at the need. You're running business. If you're making £1 million profit, who make you the profit? The worker them. So
Yeah.
share and care, and they'll make you more profit, and they get more. You
Mr.
know? And
Johnson,
it's more for the poor.
well, I want to say thank you so much. I know you'll be back, and we will work on your internet as well so that it flows much better next time. But I want to say thank you so much, and for your son for helping you out as well. Appreciate you being here, sir. And
He's gone now. Obviously, he's gone. if he wasn't here, I wouldn't be on.
Oh, no problem
Yeah,
at all.
if he
Thank
wasn't
you.
here, I would not be on.
No, we would have
So,
worked it out. We would have worked it out. So
yeah,
it's not a problem at all. Yeah, but thanks very much, and we will be back with that shortly. So thanks again, Mr. Johnson, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you very much for having me. Love you to bits, and love the people around you and who was listening in. Stay blessed and good.
Stay blessed. Thank you.
All right.
Wow, what an amazing person Mr. Johnson is. I've had the opportunity of working with him now for around 40 years. It truly has been remarkable. He will be back without a shadow of a doubt. We were doing this on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. We'll send the information out, and we want to interview all of our HPCC directors, members, so we can introduce them to you, and so on. I'm going to show you a call to action in a moment, so don't go. But as Leonard spoke briefly about the bus garage that was purchased for 1.8 million, and the time in which it was taken to raise it. And you're talking about guys who were on the street. We were what we call, from the ghetto. That's how we used to refer to it. And eventually we were able to convert it into a multi-million pound operation, which is truly, truly amazing today. And you can see here, basically, and some of the people whom we have attracted. We certainly attracted His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, marvelous Marvin Hagler, and so many other things that went on. The ITEC, Joe Coley, the Atunfo Tutu, the king of the Ashanti tribe, used to work for us, reporting to Leonard Johnson. We had, people from the Home Secretary and MPs, you name it, everybody who was around those days, visited Bridge Park. And the thing about Bridge Park at the time when I was there is that it was just so alive. It was so on fire. The community was buzzing. It's not like it is today. I'm talking about buzz, real things happening. And Leonard haven't even started to tell the story. We're going to make a film, and we're going to tell the story. We just need some money to help us. So if you have some money and you want to help us to make that film, we are going to make the film, and tell the story and that, what happened. And, Leonard didn't have time tonight, but he'll be back, as I said. Prince Charles made a statement that I truly think is powerful, and I put it on the front cover of the book. I'm going to show you how to download it in a moment. But Bridge Park is one of the most important developments that I've seen anywhere in this country for quite a long time, and that was Prince Charles on the 20th of December, 1988. I'll never forget that day. Inside the sports hall, there was 1,250 people. There were other people in the building. There were hundreds of people outside in the car park. It was just truly an electrifying day, that particular 20th of December. It was just truly, truly phenomenal and amazing. And, we hit up with injustice. And Leonard spoke about that tonight. There is, people want to look after us, but we want to look after ourselves. We want to be financially, independent and not relying upon anybody else. And Leonard spoke about the fact that we are the most deprived people in the UK and around the world. And we're going to change that. We are going to change that. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, according to Martin Luther. And I love this statement by Mayor Angelo, where she says, "You may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I will arise." And I want to say how grateful we are. And I love this statement by Michael Jordan. "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." And I am so grateful. You got to understand this. I was told by a millionaire, right, that you have to fail around 15 times in business before you succeed. So people may look at us and say, well, we failed in Bridge Park. No, we didn't fail. We found a way certain things didn't happen. There were people around us who really wasn't for us. I want you to notice this. Not everybody that's around you is for you. Not everybody that's around you is for you. There are some people that are around you only because the going is good. And as soon as the going gets bad, they will disappear from your life. Okay, that's just the way it is. And I want to say, and I commend those hundreds and hundreds of people who have supported us through this struggle, and they have just been there, showing solidarity and support and so on. And we want to say that we truly honor, respect Bertha Joseph, who's there, who was one of our directors on our board. She was a labor counselor, and she supported us amazingly. There's Crystal Rose just there shortly, and who used to have a program on TV. She started with us. There's so many people who started with us. And I'd mentioned about Ray Fearon, who you may see as an actor on TV sometimes. Well, he and I was doing acting in Bridge Park. I went into education, he went into acting, and I'm so glad that we both made the choice that we did. And he's doing amazingly at the moment. So I want to say thanks to all those who have supported us and who are supporting us, who have supported us at the Royal Court of Justice, and everyone who has played a role. We do sincerely appreciate and thanks. So thank you so very much, all of you that supported. And So how can you get involved? How can you be a part of all of this? What's the call to action? There's 7 things that I've highlighted. Number one, we'd love for you to visit our website regularly. We are in the process of adding information every day as far as possible. Videos, audios, pictures, blogs, you name it. So join us at hbcc.live. Pass the message around, tell people about it, and so on. We would really appreciate that. If everyone tells somebody, then, the numbers will grow and so on. If you want to get involved, if you want to support us financially or whatever, just contact me, Errol, at hbcc.live, and we'll be delighted to hear from you. Number 3, register for our public meeting. We do have a public meeting coming up on the 3rd of May. Okay, the 3rd of May. Bank holiday, 3rd of May, 3 to 5. So we want to give you a great update. And also we want to celebrate 40 years of community service to the community. That's how long Leonard and I have been, going, and Mike Wilson and Lawrence and Delaney and many others, It's truly been amazing. For me, it's been 40 years non-stop, night and day. And I'm just really grateful to have had the opportunity to do that. We also will be producing a newsletter, at the end of every month. So join our newsletter. That's a call to action as well. I want you to download this book, okay? Point number 5. Download my book. It's called Building a Dream, BAD, Building a Dream. And this book, I've dedicated this book to Leonard Johnson, all right? I've dedicated the book to him. I mean, I've had 3 men in my life who have helped me tremendously. And I'm going to mention the 3 names. And the first one was Leonard Johnson. He actually came and found me in a pub, wasting away. That's how he found me, wasting away in a pub. And we used to call him, the mad preacher, because he used to come in and tell us all to stop. I wasn't interested. And one day he actually turned to me and said, "Please, I beg you, just give me a moment." And I stopped the gambling that I was doing. And as soon as he finished, I went back to the gambling. But eventually, I ended up in Stonebridge and ended up working with him and lots of others. So Leonard Johnson is the guy that God sent to actually draw me out of a miry clay, out of a terrible pit that I was in. I was spiraling nowhere, going nowhere fast as well. The second person that God sent into my life was Bishop Michael Wilson. And he came in to train me, to develop me, and to make me into the person that I am today and the person that I'm becoming. And I want to say how much I honor these 2 men more than anybody else in the world. These 2 men is just truly amazing. And then the third person that came along, who passed away last year, was Bishop T.F. Foreman. These 3 men have meant more to me than I could ever have imagined. And I hope one day I'll be able to say, Leonard, here is a yacht, here is an hotel, here is whatever. I'd love to do that one day. So I want to say thanks to these men. So download that book. It's dedicated to him, but the book is really primarily based around the lessons that I learned. It's not so much a lesson that Bishop Mike or Leonard or Delaney learned. It's the lessons that I have learned. And I'm sharing my experiences and my lessons that I have learned in it. So, and I think also that if you're involved in any form of community initiative or you will ever get engaged in any of that, these lessons will be really important, I think. And finally, you can support us financially. If you want to do so, just contact me at errol@hpcc.live if you want to support us financially. And finally, you can pray for us. We enlist your support in whichever way you're able to do so. So I want to say thank you so very much for joining us today. It's truly been a joy and an honor and a privilege to be here with the man himself, Mr. Leonard Johnson. So I'm going to sign off at this particular time and say, have a fantastic weekend. We will be back, and as soon as we get the next date, then we would give that to you. But don't forget, you can actually go to the website at hpcc.live. Everything will always be on the website, on the homepage, so you can see what's happening from time to time. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now. Take care of yourself and your family. Bye.